I have bad news about Death Stranding, Felix.
Yeah, I know it gets way more
that game is massive.
Yeah.
Do you want to hop into talking about it?
If we're ready, yeah.
Are you ready, guys? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I've been waiting what feels like my whole life to talk about this game.
We've been talking about Death Stranding and it being weird for months, and just so you know,
we're all excited about this game in our own ways, but we know Neo has special, probably the biggest place in his heart.
I just want to let you know, at the end of an 8-hour stream or whatever amount of hours I did today, 6 to 8 hours, I still think it's weird as fuck, and I don't really know exactly what's going on in it.
Oh, it for sure is weird as fuck. That is no doubt what the game is.
Oh my god!
What did you think of it starting the game today? Because like the first like 4 hour, like 3 hours of it is like heavy on the cutscenes, and they're like introducing you to the characters in the world.
I personally think it's refreshing, and I'm 100% into a game that's all cutscenes. I mean, I haven't done an Uncharted game in a long time.
Well, I have to let you know that after this initial dump of cutscenes, they let you go in the world, and they kind of let you do your thing after a while. And it's really the bulk of the game so far, like with my 30 hours, is a lot of covering terrain and exploring terrain.
So there was the one thing that I noticed that's weird, because, by the way, the open world of this is the entire United States.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said at one point, I was like, wait a minute, is this going to be like that long and that wide? Is it like going to be, accurate to the scale?
No, it's definitely not that.
And then I realized that,
I
realized I went from, what is it called? What's the Washington, D.C. called?
Port Not City, or
yeah.
Capital Not City.
Capital Not City is what Washington D.C. is called. So from west what is it called again?
Capital Not City.
Capital Not City. So it said go west of Capital Not City and drop off some stuff. Right, I had to do that for a dude and go to the west checkpoint or whatever. And that's it took me about a 15 to 20 minute walk. Right, just walking. Mm-hmm. And then I realized when we're on the United States map, I'm smack dab in the middle of Ohio.
Yeah, they take some liberties on that size.
I was saying to myself, I was like, while I'm live on stream, I'm like, Kojima, I think, needs to visit the United States more often. I mean, if he realizes a 6.5 hour run can be condensed into 15 minutes, I was like, what the fuck?
I kind of appreciate the
drive, not even a run.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For a walk, I calculated it with my phone, live on stream. It's 5 days and 17 hours.
Yeah, to walk from DC to Ohio.
Well, even the way the game frames it, everything you do moving across the land just takes a lot of time. They can't one-to-one scale it, otherwise that'd be insane. But you feel like you're doing you're doing a lot of walking, and you feel it.
You may know more than me because you're further in the game, but I have a feeling that this might be not just Kojima going, it's not like what the fucking was that racing game? It was supposed to be the whole United States, and they skip over Philadelphia.
The Crew.
The Crew.
Yeah, so I have a feeling it's not like The Crew where they just were lazy and didn't do it. I think with Kojima, it might be related to Timefall. I think
it is indeed related to Timefall.
I think the distance that we're moving, the amount of distance that we're moving,
that's a good
is related to Timefall.
An idea.
Let me just explain the world just real briefly. So the world has been ravaged by Timefall and the Death Stranding, which was a cataclysmic event that took place on the planet, I guess.
Yeah.
And the United States was split apart pretty much. So what Timefall did was no one can really tell how long it's been since the Death Stranding, because Timefall is affecting the time of the terrain, and it is actually manipulating and molding the terrain because of it. So it kind of makes it's a reason for, or it's an excuse to design terrain as they see fit. I know. If they build it into the concept of the game, then I'm all for it. I'm not mad at Kojima for making me take 20 minutes to walk from DC to Ohio. I'm not mad about that. I'll have you know, Felix, they do split up. There's different open worlds. So you're in the first open mapped area.
Yeah, that's
you're gonna be in another one soon. As you keep playing.
Yeah, as I keep playing.
So far what do you think of the hiking mechanic? Because they put a heavy emphasis on carrying things.
Yeah, it's the best part of the game. It is
terrific
with how realistic it is.
That's the game.
Yeah,
it is.
Right?
It's a walking simulator. That's what it is.
It is.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it spoils things, you can say this spoils things. But I'm just like,
we won't spoil any story elements here, but I do want to talk about the gear and why it's fun to be in a walking simulator like this.
Sure.
Go ahead and ask.
Again, haven't played this. I'm definitely going to. 1,000% going to.
No story spoilers.
Are there boss battles?
There are boss battles.
I haven't got to one battles yet, but I'm very.
So I have fought 4 bosses so far.
Oh, you
three
can
three
shoot
bosses.
Things. Yeah, I forgot you actually do have the ability to like shoot things and interact with things. You're not just carrying.
I fought 3 bosses so far. The first 2 bosses are BT related.
Okay, got it.
And I'm not gonna spoil them because boss fights are a very important thing for Kojima because he designs very good boss fights.
He does. He really does.
Trip in my 6 hours, I haven't got to a boss fight yet. So.
Oh, you will. It will pull you into a boss fight, and it's really interesting how they do it. I'm not going to spoil any of that because when you get into the timefall zones and your little scanner thing picks up on them, that's when the Metal Gear elements kind of sneak through, and you have to be very sneaky, and you have to hold your breath in these moments when you get close to BTs. They are the ghosts. Yeah, so it becomes hiking, and then all of a sudden you're sneaking. So it has various ways that it changes up the ways you traverse because of the different environmental encounters.
I have experienced BTs.
For sure, but those are not the boss fight.
I don't think they seem like boss fights. And I've been nothing but stealth through those moments.
Oh, of course. But if you don't stealth, some weird things happen. Go ahead and try those as you will.
No need to spoil that. That'll come to you when you play the game.
About 2 hours before we got on the podcast here, I played, I want to say, the first official Kojima style boss fight. I'm not going to spoil it at all. It is very cool, and as I was playing it, I was like, "Oh, this is some classic Kojima boss fights." And they give you real guns, which you don't really get. So,
but for the fights, they're like use these things.
But now I have them unlocked, so I can take them with me as I go now. So,
I realized that when I got to my private room, at one point I was in the private room. Because you have this room you go to, and dude,
it's fun. It's so funny.
It's the hokiest fucking weird shit ever.
Oh, it's very Kojima because like Norman Reedus literally winks at the camera at certain points, just like looking at you, and you can like look at the models behind his bed. And when you go to click and examine them, he goes up to the camera, looks, and then points behind him, and the camera zooms.
Check on my models.
It like zooms in, to the models.
Felix, I heard that. You got popped by one very specific kind of product placement.
Oh my god! Yeah, so you right in this private room, you go and sit on the toilet. There's a choice to like take a dump, and when the thing that blocks is not like how they normally have like a blurred out to block. The thing that would normally blur you out, that would be a black bar or a blur or whatever that is, instead an advertisement for Norman Reedus's ride on fucking AMC. And I'm like, come on, man. I get why you needed it there, but I it was such a fucking funny moment, dude. Like, because I was like, oh yeah, okay, why put a blur bar up there? Just put up his advertisement for his fucking shit.
And they got like Monster energy drinks in there, and like you drink it to restore your stamina.
And you guys heard, I typed this in the Emergent Gamer Discord, but like you know what I compare that to?
With just like normal product placing?
No, Brondo. It's what plants crave. Electrolytes is what plants crave.
Have you guys seen the Death Stranding, but with the monster logo like instead of the?
Oh my god, that's awesome.
That's really awesome.
The little trails under the
dude.
letters.
I'm not even kidding. Like it reminds me of like Idiocracy is supposed to take place 500 years in the future. Everyone's drinking fucking a Gatorade substance called Brondo, and here we are. Maybe 1,000 years in the future or 2,000 years in the future. And fucking the guy is walking around with his canteen, and it's not full of water. It's full of fucking Monster energy drinks.
It's true.
And I'm like, dude, what is this fucking even further past fucking Idiocracy?
You forgot to mention the best part about taking a shower and using the bathroom. When you do that, it actually, they use your like secretions to create little grenades to use on the BTs.
So I just unlocked that, and I was like, I'm like in that scene, like he's secretion, but it comes out.
You have to shower to make these things?
Yeah. or pee, or do a little poo poo.
Or shit or something.
There's this little vial after I get out of the shower. There's this little vial, and it's filled with yellow liquid. And I go, what the fuck just happened? Did I piss in that vial? Am I now supposed to use my piss?
Everyone pees in the shower, so let's just be honest about that.
Am I supposed to use my piss on the fucking BTs? And this is coupled with the fact that there is a weird built into the I'm not even kidding, built into the wheel to of things you can do is your ability to just piss.
Yeah, dude.
Your character can just pull over and urinate.
And when you pee on the side of the road or whatever, it actually will grow like a little mushroom.
Yeah,
and
I saw the mushroom.
That will show up in other players' game, which is a whole nother part of the game, which I want to talk about.
You can see other people's piss mushrooms.
Yeah.
I think by far the coolest part of this game trip is the Dark Souls-like elements that they have implemented into this.
Yeah. The little messages to other people. The little
you can totally
playable elements.
Yeah.
You could,
Not only can you leave signs and everything, but you can leave items in the world, like your ladders and your climbing tools, and you can build. You get a tool that will build bridges and post boxes where you can leave packages that other players can use and take on their missions, and you can store things in there. If you're carrying too much.
I do want you to spoil this.
That's
Can
cool.
you unlock a lean-to, to get under when the time fall's coming?
Yes, you
Okay.
can. There's two of those. You can build a portable private room, like the ones you see in the major cities.
Oh, okay, cool.
So you can build a portable version of that, and you can build timefall shelters. When you hide under those, it'll actually restore the crates on your back. It'll restore any packages you're carrying.
Oh, that's great.
I did notice that because I was watching a little bit of gameplay and I saw that people's the quality, the health, the durability of the packages you were carrying were affected by timefall whenever that was happening in your area.
That part of the game,
that
part of the game trip is so brilliant, man. You can physically look at the textures that are on your crates to know. You don't even have to go into the menu and know that your shit
you
is
can just
aging.
see it
because the timefall rain,
cool.
it ages shit fast. And you start to see that these crates look like they've been on your back for centuries. Eventually, if you just leave it out there.
You'll unlock items like container repair sprays where you can turn it and spray on your back and then spray in front of you.
Yeah, I haven't unlocked those yet.
So let me tell this isn't really a spoiler, but as you make your journey across the terrain, you'll unlock all these cool ass pieces of gear that will assist you. I have a grapple gun that'll grab cargo right out of people's hands, and I can
cool.
you get all kinds of really cool toys, and I don't even know where to
I haven't even got into
all the tools.
Yeah, I haven't even got.
You'll get an exoskeleton. You get two kinds of exoskeletons that level up. One is a power skeleton, so you know how you attach crates to your legs?
Yeah.
So the power skeleton you can't, but you can carry more on your back and you're going to be more stable. And you can power through certain parts of the environment that are a little bit more edgy, a little bit more rough. Or you can get the speed skeleton. And the speed skeleton, you can put stuff back on your legs, but you can't carry nearly as much, but you can haul ass across the land.
That's cool.
You can really just hightail it.
Yeah, I love the so far what I've experienced is I love the ladders, and I love I love the rope, the climbing rope. That was really cool.
Now, do you make it a point to leave that stuff behind?
Well, I understand, dude. He talks in the dialogue. This isn't a spoiler, but in some of the dialogue, he literally talks about it's meta because he's talking about the game mechanics. He's like.
That's pure Kojima.
He's
right
like,
there.
we all need to be one, and the community, something. This is paraphrasing, and the community needs to come together, and that's the only way. In the Bridge Network, that's what he's talking about.
Right.
It's with the Bridge Network, we all need to come together and be together and share with each other. And he's saying, the character is saying, sorry,
and that's what you do in
Guillermo
the game.
del Toro. The fucking director is saying, what the fuck, dude?
And not only that, the game actually encourages you to like other people's items left behind because you can give likes.
Like them.
You can mash. You literally mash a like button and you can give
smash
5,
that
10
like
likes.
button. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. And then
I have done that.
game,
I liked people putting up a ladder and leaving it there.
Oh,
and then being thanks.
In their game,
liking it a bunch of times.
They actually see that you liked their stuff.
Do we get a notification that says someone liked your shit?
Yes, you'll get text. You'll get like floating text that shows up on the side. That's like somebody used your bridge, someone used your ladder, and they gave you like 10 likes, and like it'll just keep going.
One
and
of these
later
days,
in the game,
so eventually one of these days I might run across Neo Aoshi shit.
If we're friends on PlayStation, I'm hoping so, because Andy and Trollbeard.
I'm pretty sure we are friends on PlayStation.
But like I haven't seen any of Andy or Trollbeards, so I don't know how it really detects this, but later in the game, you'll be able to form bonds with certain people's stuff in the game called like strand bonds or whatever, some weird ass name. But you can pick players.
Something that has to do with stranding or connecting.
Of course.
Yeah.
You'll see in your menu, you can go, I want to bond with this person, and you'll get more as you go on. And I have a feeling it'll put their stuff to the forefront for you. And I tried finding like people in the Discord's names to see if I can like add them. I haven't yet, but so far as I know, it's all random. But the game encourages you to build a new community throughout the world by leaving items and liking other people's items, and it actually changes the world as you're going through it. For example, in the area I'm in now, you'll later be able to build roads and stuff. So like people contribute materials to the building of the roads, and you can see.
Let me ask you a question.
Who's contributed the most and stuff. Go ahead.
When you pick up people's packages and shit, or pick up whatever, and you have it on your back, and then you get to a destination, there's an option that says, and I got so confused by this. There's an option that says entrust to someone else. All
right, so what that does is you'll find people's lost, like actual players lost packages in the world.
Yeah, I know what it does.
So you have two options. You can leave it in a post box or in a major city, or
that's entrusting to somebody else.
So what that will do is create a delivery quest mission for another player who comes by, and they can complete the delivery to where that is supposed to go, or you can do it yourself and get the credit, and then you'll form a bond with that player.
I'm saying, do you get more points for entrusting or more points for doing it yourself? That's the question.
Probably for doing it yourself, but you still do get credit. You get credit for literally everything you deliver, no matter what. But it's either way. It's you see other people's stuff like littered in the world if they drop it or lose it.
Oh yeah, I've been taking it. I've been picking stuff up, and then one time I accidentally entrusted it, and I went, I wonder if that has as much experience as if I keep it and do it myself. Like I wasn't.
It's funny when you say experience, because like
there is an experience. No, it's likes. That's what it is.
It's literally like your street cred.
It looks like a Facebook fucking.
But
like,
as you
it's a little thumbs up thing.
It's literally Facebook's thumbs
but
up. But
as you get different, you you build stars with every distribution location. Right? Have you the 5-star rating that they give you? It goes up every time you complete a mission for a place.
Yeah.
So I've noticed certain characters you'll run into will provide you with different upgrades and different gear that will, make your life easier. They will upgrade your gear if you fill out those stars. So that is really the most important thing. And then once you get to the 5-star rating, they give you a little star on your uniform. You get like a star.
And the only way to really do that is with the help of the world, or
that's just by completing deliveries efficiently and
a lot of them. And a lot of them, yeah. But what I found I'm doing is if I have missions in certain parts of the map, I will try and pick up as many deliveries that I can knock out on the way, just to kind of make the rounds. And honestly, it is fucking fun to like just do all of this and just go out on a mission, plan what gear I want to take with me, and like just knock all these things out. And it's honestly like the minimal combat, still pretty enjoyable. Go ahead, Trip.
So I have no context for this question other than what people have been saying, but I'm curious as to your take on this perspective, because you've mentioned a lot about how amazing the experience is of overcoming these things, right? And creating your journey and modifying your character and like making this trek, where I've heard people say legitimately that like, I can't play the game, I'm just walking everywhere and that's boring. To me, like, because the reviews came out a week before the game dropped, and and people were talking about it. The experiences that these reviewers had, I do not think they were intended to be the intended experience. Because I'm not talking about official reviewers. I'm talking about like people now know. Playing.
I know what nugget of a person's brain that's based on, because I experienced it for about 5 minutes, but then it passed like a big shit that I took.
Hang on. Sony gave out a ton of review copies to as many people as possible. But I honestly don't think that was enough, because this game relies heavily on the ability to create a forged community where it's a very isolating game, right? Because you're alone in this desolate world. But at the same time, you see other people's names and other people's items that kind of fill it out and actually kind of fill those gaps of the isolated world, because you're not alone. There's a button that literally makes Sam go, "Hey, anyone there?" And then anyone else in the world in those moments will respond to you, and they'll go, "I'm here." Like,
Did you hear what I said?
Well, not
entirely. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Finish what you were going to say then.
Who, me? No, all I said was I had that moment. Like when I first started playing the game, the moment where I could potentially be that person who was like, "This is so open, and I don't know where to go, and what the fuck is this game?" And I had it, and it was there. And then, like, I took a dump, it dumped it out, and just moved forward and played the game.
In real life, you took a dump, or in the game?
No, I'm saying literally, I was bound up by it. I was literally like, "What the fuck? There's so much going, but there's nothing. And which way do I go?" And then I just said, "Okay, the fucking hell with this. I'm just gonna walk." I think it was around the time when I was frustrated. Remember that thing that I couldn't put the thing on the map, and I was complaining about a trip, and I was like, "This is so fucked up." Yeah. And finally, I said, "You know what? I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna fucking walk, and the game will present a solution." And it fucking did, and it was outstanding.
Life will find a way.
Yeah,
you had a moment.
I got to this area, and I walked into it, and the guy was like, "No, you just got to put the thing down." And I was like, "Oh, okay." All I needed to do was just walk. But I was really hung up on the UI, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't do this thing. And when I first
UI is very intense.
When I first started playing the game, I was like, literally, it's a big open area. Which way do I walk? But I just walked. I just fucking walk.
I walked.
That's all you need to do is just fucking walk.
So I guess what I'm trying to ask, and I guess I'm asking a question on behalf of people that may not even be asking this question, so it's all just, hyperbole.
We don't know.
But people that have played the finished game are just saying, it's just, I don't get it. It's just walking, right? So, like, I guess my question would be, do you think they're missing something, or do you think that honestly, the game will not be well, because I don't want to minimize their experience, because like an experience is an experience. It's not right or wrong. It's what they're having.
Right.
So like,
it's subjective.
Do you think that if someone pushes past that, they'll find more, or do you think that the game will only appeal to a certain segment of people that want what the game delivers to you in the weird way that it delivers to you? Like,
First of all, yes. I do think only a specific people who are looking for a specific thing are going to get out of this what they are putting into it. If you're going to walk into this just trying to complete the deliveries and objectives without kind of breaking off the beaten path and doing your own thing and trying to set goals and things for yourself, you're going to just get really bored with the monotony of delivering packages.
Right.
But if you go, like when I go out on like when I plan my missions, I'm thinking about what's the path I'm going to take. I draw it out on the map.
I love the drawing of the path thing.
Yeah, and then it paths it in real time. And then I go, okay, what gear do I need for this? Okay, I'm going to take 2 PCC devices, which create things in the world. And I'm going to say, whenever I go out, I'm going to make sure I drop at least 1 or 2 PCC devices. Just whether it be an energy generator, which will charge your batteries that you have, or I'll leave a vehicle, or I'll make sure to drop a ladder behind. Like, I want to use my tools, or I'll make trips like going, okay, there's like road building pylons that you need to contribute materials to that you find. So I go, okay, this trip out, I'm going to perform this delivery, but at the same time, I'm going to contribute to the road. So that will make someone else's time and my own time become more efficient as I'm driving. So in one of the parts of the map, I can now drive and do like actual routes. I have a truck now that you get later on. You'll be able to get a truck that is like literally a FedEx truck.
I've been staring at and tried to urinate on because I couldn't get into it yet.
Yeah, you're not ready for that
truck.
yet.
I need to urinate on this truck.
I went over and I said, "Oh, I have a urinate command." Well, you won't let me have this truck, so I'm gonna piss on this truck, and I couldn't even piss on the truck.
God,
but
dude.
Here's the thing: there was a moment yesterday when I was playing.
I love your mind.
Yeah, there's a moment yesterday while I was playing that I was literally performing like a FedEx driver. And for a long time, because I built these roads, which took a whole bunch of hours to like just get the materials for and contribute to. And then by the time I had all that, I'm going up and down and I'm making all these deliveries and I'm leveling up like crazy and I'm getting all kinds of new gear. And as I'm doing this, like I'm improving my character's everything, just as the tech he can use, the amount I can carry. And like now I can like store extra batteries on my backpack and like, man, I'm like an efficient delivery machine and it feels real good. Like just the act of it feels great. And I don't know, in that beginning area, you're really stuck to doing like everything on foot and really you're learning the ropes.
Right,
you know?
right.
Hey, Trip.
I don't know what to tell people who are
no, and I don't think you need to tell them a certain thing, but I think what you told me in that answer was that yes, the game's a lot of walking. Yes, it's a lot of like, you can minimize it by saying UPS simulator.
Sure.
But I think if you're playing the game, there's a lot more to it than that in terms of like gameplay depth, but also like meaning depth and story depth. And
that's all there. Need to be able
to want to find it.
The good news is, Trip and Felix, this is definitely a Kojima story game. And there is a story there. I don't know what the ending is going to be like yet. Not there yet. But so far, it has all the trappings that you would get out of a Kojima game story. And on top of these massive systems that it overlays into you, it's beautiful. Dude, Felix, later you get the ability to track the timefall movement.
I'm excited.
And
I'm excited about it.
Like you get all these tools. Like every location you unlock and connect to the Chiral network, which is their internet network that they have you hook up to everybody hook up to. You get all these new abilities that you can take with you as you go on your journey, and it fills in all of those dry moments in the beginning because now you have more things to pull from.
I had two thoughts, but I forgot the other one because
I'm so sorry. I'm talking.
You're fine. You're fine. But I do remember the one thought. Okay, so that's all that matters. The one most important thought is to break it down for you, Trip. The barrier to entry of this game is about 6 hours. That's the barrier to entry. Okay, the first 6 hours of the game are pretty much just cutscenes. It's a story. You're watching it. It doesn't even matter that you're walking places because you're walking to places to get more cutscenes. That's the first 6 hours of the game.
It's a big info dump and introduction to all the characters.
Do you remember this argument that people
which I'm not opposed to personally.
But do you remember the
argument? You played Metal Gear Solid 4, so you know.
Exactly.
The argument that people make with TV shows. If it takes me 6 episodes to get into it, then it's not worth it to watch.
This is the problem.
The people who make that statement.
Peak TV. We live in the peak TV era.
But the people
it gets good is what everyone says. Give it a couple episodes.
But people who make that statement, who make it on a regular basis, this is their barrier to entry. Because if you feel if there's a person who's like that with TV shows and then also like that with games, who's like, if it takes me 4 hours to get interested in the game, fuck the game, then they're never going to get to anything. Point.
Because even the first like few missions, it's literally you learning how to like just walk across the terrain. Because the shoulder buttons are literally you holding your pack on each arm. And
is it like your adjustment, your left right kind of adjustment?
Exactly, and you can actually use the triggers to just like grab things on the ground and hold. Because you can hold packages with your arms as well as throw them on your back. Yeah. So you can grab something, throw it on your back, or just hold it and pull it off.
But in the beginning, what the game lacks in mechanical function and things to do in a gaming fashion, it makes up for in really engaging cutscenes that are well performed by the fucking Hollywood A-list actors and directors that have taken it on. If you don't appreciate that, then you don't fucking buy the game. That's fucking stupid. You shouldn't have bought it in the first place because that's what it is. It's a 6-hour movie that you watch that was very enjoyable. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, this is weird, but I love it.
It's a lot of world setup in those first 6 hours.
Weird as shit, and I don't understand it, but I'm walking. And I wish my other point was there because it was so funny.
My best advice to anyone, including you, Felix, who's currently playing it, is just leave your mind open while you play it and just accept the information that they're bestowing on you because they're going to do it anyway.
Neo,
they're just
going to
throw info at you.
Like I got caught up in it and I was fucking loving it, man. It's weird and fucking strange, but like there was something I was liking it to, a TV show that I watched that was weird and I didn't understand it, but I kept watching it, and I don't remember which one.
I mean, for sure it has all the trappings of like a really good sci-fi series you would see on like Netflix or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
got all that.
You know what it felt like, Trip? Because it has its own glossary, its own vocabulary. It reminded me of that show on Netflix. The Carbon, what is it? No.
Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon. Because you get into it and you're like, this is just like, it's a future game. It's got its own like glossary. I literally had to look up the glossary while I was live on stream to understand what certain things are. They kept saying BB and DT. You know, I did the exact same thing with Altered Carbon when I first started watching it. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I was looking for your parallel because my mind doesn't work quite that same way. I would have been like, but this isn't about people hopping in other bodies with their mental
but, I mean,
spirits. But I get what you're saying in terms of like,
no, they had both products
are learn.
Yeah,
like you have to learn that.
You have to learn the language they're speaking.
Remember, I got to episode 5 of Altered Carbon, and they were using all these terms, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to look up a glossary." Pause, and then I like.
Well, they jump right in with like sleeve. They're like, this called sleeves,
and then like you know all that.
Yeah.
I have to. The second season's coming, and I swear to God, I'm gonna have to look up the glossary again the minute I start watching.
That show got better as it went.
Yeah.
I like
Just
that
give
show.
it a couple episodes. Give it 6 hours.
You got to give it at least 6 episodes before it gets good.
I enjoyed that show from the get. I'm a huge fan of anything like cyberpunk, future.
I loved it
future
too.
things. So I was already in it. But yeah, I mean, it's got all that. It's got like they're going to info dump you, and they're going to tell you what the BBs are, and then they tell you what the timefall is, and the BTs, and they introduce the characters, and Dead Man tells you all about himself and like who he is, and then you meet the guy with the it's not Dead Man, it's like the guy with the mask.
I thought all Die Hard. They're all on the nose. Dead Man is a former coroner.
No subtlety.
Hardman is a guy that can't die. Fucking like what was Heartman? He checks like your fucking heart vitals or whatever.
He's got an interesting story too when you see him.
It's almost like so fucking cringy. Because these are not new names for Kojima. It's like he does this shit all the time.
Yeah. Like Fat Man was a character in Metal Gear Solid.
Fat Man was a fat man boss.
He was an obese
in Metal Gear Solid 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the boss, Fat Man.
It's hokey, but I appreciate it, man. It calls back to there's so many things that it called back to as I was playing it. Like it made me feel like Big Trouble in Little China, like the hokiness of Big Trouble in China. To a degree, and that's one of my favorite movies of fucking all time.
For sure. Like, and it takes itself seriously, but at the same time, everything's like ridiculous that's happening, right?
It's very clear when you play this Kojima game that he has a high knowledge of Western and Eastern cinema. Like the guy is super knowledge on movies.
And
TV,
he is.
And maybe even TV shows. Like,
yeah, he's a huge.
It's literally why he made Metal Gear the game series, because he just loves Western cinema.
Yeah, yeah, and he put two like top-notch, high-end. I would argue that the two directors that he has playing parts in his game are his basic analogy. You know, I mean, they are to the film industry what he is to the game industry. They're turning their art, their craft into an art form, just like he is. Nicholas,
100%.
I can't pronounce 100%. the other director, Nicholas Winding Remf. I can't pronounce his last name, but he's famous for doing Drive, and he's famous for doing that movie with Ryan Gosling that I need to watch over again because I hated it.
That was a Ryan Gosling movie.
Wasn't that called Drive?
Oh no, Gosling was in this other one with him, which was really it was a lot of red and like it was super weird. I can't remember the name of that, but he did 2 movies. He's going to play a part in. You probably already met him, Neo, but he's another one of these characters. Maybe it's Heartman. I don't even know who he's playing in the game, but like he's also in the game. Like it's crazy that he got like.
Yeah, he is. I'm looking at a picture of Nicholas Winding now.
Yeah, Nicholas like
the Neon Demon is what you're looking at.
No, but
Nicholas Winding Refn, I think. Is
Only
Refn?
God Forgives.
That name.
Only God Forgives. That is the weirdest movie you'll ever watch. But I hated it the first time I watched it because I didn't understand it. And that's exactly how people are with this Kojima game. They're going to hate it because they don't understand it.
It's funny that you mentioned that because all these locations that you visit to drop packages off, they all have a character that shows up and talks to you. And one of them, like they're all people from mainstream stuff. Like Jeff Knightley is one of them. Like he literally shows up as one of these couriers. And I ran into Conan O'Brien I've run into the director of Horizon
You ran into
Zero.
Conan O'Brien in the game?
I ran into Conan O'Brien in the game, and it's literally him.
So
being Kojima.
They blasted that all over social media. I'm surprised you didn't see that, Felix.
No,
like,
I kept away from it.
Video.
It was actually like a marketing push. Like they were like, it was like everyone reported at the same time, and Conan O'Brien's in this game. And I almost wish they kept that as like a secret if you to just.
Well, it was a secret to me.
Fine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know, like imagine if you just everyone like they pushed it so that almost everyone knew. But imagine you didn't know. And again, I was talking about this with Kevin Oates. Imagine you just walk into a fucking random little station and it's fucking Conan O'Brien talking to you about the shit you got to do next. Like that would be wild, like absolutely wild. You know.
So another character I ran into was the director of Horizon Zero Dawn. Isn't it? And when you come to after you level his place up with a few stars, and you arrive at his facility, Aloy from Horizon is standing outside waving at you in, like a hologram of her. She's like, "Hey, you made it!" And then like as you unlock more stars, you get the dinosaur robots are standing outside too.
That's
super
really
meta.
Cool.
Super.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Well, because the Decima engine, the engine this game is built off of, was developed by the Horizon studio, and they gave him this engine to use for this game.
And that's the thing, like that should not be shied away from. Like when somebody, and you said it best, Trip, when you said, "Is this something that people are just oversimplifying?" Like simple. Oh, it's just a postal worker's job. Yeah, it's a postal worker's job in this beautiful, amazing, post-apocalyptic, like incredibly detailed setting. And you can't just like minimize it like that. You just can't.
No, you can't.
Because the work they put into it makes it fucking epic. And like the music is amazing. I'm going to download the soundtrack later tonight. Like,
God, dude, I didn't even. Oh man, you're right.
I've heard
the best part.
Like the audio production level of this game is out fucking standing.
You guys should look at the tweet I made on my thoughts on after the first night when I streamed it like 16 hours of the game. I think I ended up at like 17 hours at the end, but there are moments of like quiet desolitude that you're just walking, just quietly enjoying yourself. And then the music just kicks in as you approach one of your destinations. And it's hauntingly beautiful.
He's not only tapped into Western like film, he's tapped into Western pop music. He does this thing where you get to certain parts and the game just like pans out on your character so he's smaller. And it's like he's walking. And the music, like an actual like source song pops in, not score, but like some band, like.
And it shows like the track name and the artist
then later
and stuff,
later on, when you're in your little private room, you unlock the ability to play that music that you've unlocked in the world.
That's a very Kojima thing to like play a song and then like play the artist and the track, and like he was doing that music video shit before anybody else was.
Yeah,
when the artist like comes up and the music starts playing in the lower corner, he cites them. He gives
you a lower third with the information.
Yeah, with the source saying like, "Oh, by the way, this is who it's by," in case you were wondering. Yeah. Like, enjoy my world. This is what I just made. I'm like,
my one complaint is they don't give you the ability to just like play the music like in Metal Gear Solid 4. Because in Metal Gear Solid 4, Felix, they give you a literal iPod.
Oh, okay.
Like literally branded iPod, and you can play any tracks that you find in the world, just like kind of like in this game.
Is it a fake iPod or an actual iPod?
No, it is an
actual
Apple branded
iPod. Yeah,
dude, all the shit like in Metal Gear Solid 4 was Apple branded. They had your Mac Pros, your cinema displays from 2009.
Yep.
He had iMacs with the little arm, the white dome iMacs on the arms.
Your iPad, MacBook Pro. Yeah.
MacBook Pros for sure, like the G4 MacBook Pros, like when they had that little dude. It was so specific that it was a MacBook Pro branded after they left the G4s and went to MacBook Pro. Like that was how specific the hardware was in this game. And they had you had your joystick, right? One of your sticks, you would spin around on your iPad, then click the center when you made your choice. Or your iPod, sorry. You would like navigate the iPod in the game
with the click
overlay the way you would do it on as close as possible to navigating an actual iPod. It was ridiculous.
Very much attention to detail with that.
Yeah. I remember reading a story about this and how he went to Apple with the concept and they were like, this is incredible. And you already get like how to respect a vision of a product. So we're on board with you 1,000%. And they gave him like whatever he wanted in terms of like visual branding because they knew that he would respect the visual branding the way they would want, but also like have his own vision with it too.
Did that game predate the death of Jobs or no?
It did.
Yes, it did by 2 years.
Oh, so then they must.
Wait, 5 years?
It's like 2006-7, dude.
Yeah, I was just like, damn, dude, it wasn't
Kojima
2009.
and
It was
Steve Jobs must have been in active conversation with each other.
Yeah, I promise you, it definitely happened. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Metal Gear Solid 5 had a Sony cassette player, because that took place in the 80s.
Yes, it did. Yep.
So he really cares about his music selection, and I heard someone mention this is like Kojima's like Spotify playlist that he wants to put in the game for you.
Oh yeah, it's fucking every artist. I was like, I've never heard them before. Okay, going to Apple Music tomorrow. I mean, like, I'm gonna check all of them out.
Churches made an actual like theme song for this game too.
Who?
Churches with a V. Churches.
Churches.
Oh.
Yeah, they're a pop band.
Is that a band?
You know
who they are.
I probably got them in my phone right now.
You probably do.
Churches, dude.
I probably do.
But
it's Churches with a
V. Yeah.
With a V.
But Trip, I got to tell you, like in Kojima fashion, this game is finely crafted to everything you would like. Like you specifically, I know you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5 yet, but there is a lot of Metal Gear Solid 5.
I've played Ground Zeroes.
It's not 5. Well, because 5. Well, here's the thing: like 5 has your base mechanic where you're building up. Like there's a lot of these heavy menu building things, and a lot of that is in this game. A lot of that is like about crafting your experience as you go across. And Trip, you would love the shit out of this. Like you would make each trek, each journey, like very special because that's what the game asks you to do. Like it really asks you to do. It doesn't just ask you to.
I know.
Plot across the land like you're just fucking walking. It really asks you to take the time and care about each journey and each package like it's a special BB that you need to take to each location.
Yeah, it's
really caress the package.
I didn't realize BB was an acronym.
It's Bridge Baby.
I thought it was just like
the BBs.
That's my baby.
I would. I know what you're saying. I definitely would. My biggest like thought process with this is I kind of want to experience it by myself. Do I do that off stream? Do I play this by myself?
Well, I can tell you the game isn't fun to watch, and that's a lot of people streaming it have like I've heard comments on that, like how it's just not fun to watch. But honestly, people in my stream who hopped in were just like, I want to know what this game is because no one has been able to. Yeah, you're going to get
the viewers are going to be potential buyers. That's who you're going to get viewing.
Right. That's what I've gotten so far.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they're just asking questions like, "What is this game? What are you doing?"
People, because I'm doing the Mixer Twitch thing. I had a lot of people from Mixer go, "How do I get this game on my Xbox?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can't, because this is an exclusive. Sorry." But yeah, they were like, "Wow, I hadn't even heard of this fucking game." Well,
it is definitely by far a good lonely experience that you can really immerse yourself in.
I mean, for me, this kind of game is exactly what I want. To be alone, it's okay.
It does seem like a nice palate cleanser.
You're making my heart swell. Well, joy, Felix, when you say that.
Yeah, I mean, did you think I was going to come in here and be critical of it?
No. I think you are one that can appreciate art where it is trying to be art, and I know this is like I've described this before it came out as like just being Kojima's art project, because he doesn't, like, people forget Kojima doesn't make action games, right? He made Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid with the full intense. He looked at Contra, Felix, and he went, these games are about shooting and killing people. What if I can make a game where it encourages you to not kill people and encourages you to run away from fights and hide?
There's nothing in this game that makes me want to just shoot and punch and kill and
but like there are moments like that. Like you run into raiders called mules.
Yeah, I already did. Fucking dicks.
And like they
try to punch them and then they kick my ass.
they force you into combat in various ways, Felix, and you don't want to be in combat because you have a job to do that isn't fighting, and
gotta get that package.
Discourages you from it.
I said today,
been this way for years. Like people are like, this is a boring game, but like he's made games where you're not supposed to do this. He doesn't want you to encourage combat.
I said today in the stream, I said, this is a big troll from Kojima, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I'm not. Yeah. I'm saying it's a troll in the sense that this guy has a wide eye view of the entire game industry, and he sees all the fucking games that are out there, and all of them are pretty much summed up to the same fucking thing. And he said, "How do I make the exact opposite of that shit?" And that's what
Felix,
he did.
You're nailing it.
Right?
100%.
He said, "I have a wide eye view. I know what they're making. I'm not making that. I want to see if I can get somebody entertained by making them a mail delivery fucker."
He's like, I don't want to make it.
And he's like, I'm not gonna like make it boring. I'm gonna make it interesting. I'm gonna put it in a post-apocalyptic world and have weird shit like Timefall, and it's gonna be fucking cool. But like, I want to see if I can do it. Can I get you entertained in delivering packages?
Well, half his fucking experience was the years we've had leading up to.
Right.
I mean, honestly, like,
but, for sure. But I just imagine like him sitting around,
drip feeding out,
sitting around a table having a fucking drink, talking to somebody, and somebody says, "No way, you're gonna make a fucking game about a mail delivery service and people are gonna buy it." And he's like, "I'll prove you fucking wrong." like he's at $1 million like gambling table for poker, and he's like gambling one weekend, and he just said somebody challenges him, and he said, "Oh yeah, well fuck you, I'll do it." And he's doing it because it's awesome.
The quick turnaround on this game, because in 2015 when he got like go from Konami and he made this so soon, tells me that he has already had this idea like ready to go.
Oh, the man's probably got notebooks full of ideas and just looking at what's most viable and what can he make happen.
Yeah, what can I make? And then he looks at the engine and goes, okay, what can my team do? And I know he has most of his team from Konami with him right now, the ones that like left. And Shinji Kawa, his art director, clearly is in the helm for his art direction this time. It is very Metal Gear style art direction for sure, which frankly is fantastic. I love his art. He was ready to. He made it so quickly because he didn't do the dance of, well, for the sake of it, I'm gonna call it the Anthem dance. Because right. Anthem spent 5 years in pre-production or whatever, trying to figure out what the game is and trying to figure out what they were going to do. But Kojima's like, this is how you have to do it. This is how we're doing it. I know what I'm making. I know what my team is going to do. He was the leader at the helm of this, and he created a game. It's not buggy. It's not, no microtransactions. Sorry, got to say it. It feels great to not be advertised that in game.
He is proud of that.
It's great. It's a refreshing experience, and the game hasn't pushed back on me at all. You know what I mean? Like all these other games like Fallout and what other games came out, like Breakpoint, like they push back at you with all these.
People are drawing a lot of comparisons between this game and Outer Worlds for being refreshing.
Yeah,
for being it is refreshing. Like, fucking thank you for not browbeating us over and over again. Okay, you put your product placements in there. Fuck that. I know. I get it. But like, you're not browbeating me. You're not trying to get me to buy a bunch of other shit.
I would much rather play a game that is almost comically full of product placement over repeated like pushing to buy a microtransaction.
To be honest with you, the money men who were sitting around the table being dicks to Kojima about like making a game that's not going to do that probably are the ones that push for these product endorsements that offset that cost.
I know for a fact that Sony was completely hands off. They gave him a shit ton of money and a studio. They bankrolled his whole studio, and they were very hands off. But they did not involve themselves at all.
But he definitely figured out a way to make them happy in terms of dollar amounts, because those product placements weren't free.
No,
you
for
know
sure.
What I mean, like somebody got paid for that shit.
He's done product placements in his games before. He's done all these kinds of things. Like Calorie Mate was in Metal Gear Solid 3, and there's all kinds of stuff that he like involved.
And I'm saying from the minute one, maybe that's what relinquishes the talons of put all this extra fucking microtransaction shit in the game. They don't have to do it because they know that he's gonna pull endorsements like every single time. So he can be as free with his art. He can be as free with his art because he's getting endorsements to come in, celebrity endorsements, shit like that, dude. Like they're not worried about it.
So far, 30 hours in, it's a great product. Like I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. I don't know if we want to start winding down this convo. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
But damn, it is refreshing. It really is a great palate cleanser to all the action heavy shooting games, and there is still action. Like, it's still there. I played a very action heavy segment before coming on this podcast today. So I can tell you it is there, and it is very much a callback to old Metal Gear games. Trip, just so
Nice.
just to debate you a little bit.
Nice, yeah.
My Twitter quote was, Death Stranding is very enjoyable. However, it's absolutely not for everyone. It takes a while to get going. The UI is sometimes atrocious to figure out.
It's very UI heavy, very menu heavy.
I didn't say it's not possible to figure it out. I just said it's atrocious to figure it out.
Just to finish up, just some tips for the menu, Felix. When you go to like, it'll like auto organize your pack for you. You know that button?
Yeah, I saw
You
that.
hit triangle in your gear menu, and then it auto organize. The game is very much about focusing you to hold X to complete menus. So that's really
I know
the hardest thing for me to overcome. It took a while for me to like get used to doing it.
Fucking hate it.
You gotta hold X to like.
Can I tell you an anecdote about that?
Go ahead.
It was at the time when I was mad when Trip entered the stream. So I had.
He was so mad,
dude. I had.
He was furious.
I was in this like thing, and I had to like drop one of those kits off, the PCCs to build. You know, the building things. So I go and I was at like the Western thing, and then I leave, and at that point I had put all of these for another quest, all these things on the back of the pack ready to go, but I hit circle by mistake when I was shifting menus, and hitting circle it brings up a message that says, "Do you want to cancel this action?" And I didn't realize I hit the circle, canceled the action. Didn't realize the things on my back were now not on my back. Right?
And you just left?
I only had the PCC things on. Went to the one place. Yeah, went to the one place, right? Dropped off the PCC thing, built it, then went walking, right? Through a fucking what's the word again? The fall stuff. Timefall. Went through a timefall area where I put all those fucking things, got all the way to the next destination, and realized I had hit that circle button and canceled the shit that I needed to deliver there. I was like, fuck! Now I gotta walk back through the timefall area.
Felix, you're never gonna do that again.
Never made that mistake ever again. Never made that mistake.
It makes you feel better. I actually did literally the same thing at one point too.
Everyone's
and it hurts. It hurts.
You're like, oh shit, fuck! I gotta go back.
Feels good though. The flexibility you have is
to vent that out. I just urinated. I was like, "Fuck! I'm urinating on your game."
Just gonna piss on something.
Felix, I really hope I run into one of your mushrooms. I really do.
I pissed on some of your art, Kojima.
Oh my god, I love it so much. Well, cool. That was a good. Are we satisfied that it's here now and I can stop like swooning over it, even though I'm going to continue to swoon over it?
I mean, are you satisfied? It's kind of a question for you, not for us.
Yeah, I really like the game. I'm really enjoying my time with it, and I'm really happy it's here, and I'm happy it exists. I'm happy it's something different. I'm happy it's like, I'm so tired of the Call of Duties and all these samey games. Like, they're all the same thing they make every year.
No, it sounds like
this is great.
It sounds like it's everything you wanted it to be.
It is.
I really do appreciate.
Even like a year ago, I was like expecting, like, I know it's gonna be something unique and different. And
I really do.
All skeptical people out there, not you guys, the other people.
Trip,
we're all like,
He's still talking.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna let him finish. Are you finished?
I'm done.
Trip, I appreciate you bringing up the counterpoint to the game.
Yeah.
Because that is important to talk about. Because audience members...
Well, it is. I wanted people to, like, who are listening to this and maybe have that question, get insight into that question. Because
they need to know the barrier to entry.
That's the biggest amount of
it's there
negative feedback that I've seen collected under the most simplistic way, which is, but I'm just walking. So I wanted to, like, talk about that angle for a little bit.
In the beginning of the game, it's if you're not invested in the story cutscenes, then the first 6 hours of the game are going to be boring, and you're probably going to drop it. Like
this is, but the good news is this is that kind of game where you'll see like all kinds of wacky gifs. Like this week, I bet you're going to see all kinds of crazy gifs come out of just antics that people are doing.
Oh, I'm sure. So many clips are out there right now already.
Yeah, man, it's cool. I had posted a lot of screenshots on my like of crazy things I did on my Twitter of just like nonsense, just like crazy out there nonsense. And it's
you did a thread of Death Stranding clips to the
what are you just using PS4 share? for that?
Yeah,
to the Snake Eater song.
Yeah, I did do that.
Yeah.
I loaded it onto a USB drive from my PS4, and then I just put it on my computer so I could just easily tweet it out rather than do it through the shitty interface on.
Oh, PS4 share is garbage.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Do better, Sony.
Well,
you did great with Death Stranding, but do fucking better with other shit.